I'm sure by now you've heard the old adage of there are no certainties in life except death and taxes. But what if I could prove to you that maybe not on the taxes? But first, if you find this video helpful, a like and a comment will go a long way to paying it forward. Subscribe and hit that notification bell. Oh, and please keep this in mind. I own a CPA firm called Swain CPA, and we are actively taking on small business clients. If you're a small business owner and I'm not your accountant, why don't you book a chat with me and let's see what we can do to change that. So, there are no certainties in life except death and taxes. Horse hockey pucks. Okay, maybe on the death piece, I can't help you with that one. But the taxes, well, yes, you may be able to get out of these. Well, better put, you may be able to get someone else to pay them and even have a bunch of money left over. So what am I talking about here? It's called an estate bond. An estate bond is a life insurance concept that uses the tax benefits of life insurance payouts to maximize the value of your estate when you're gone. Or I like to say, pay those darn taxes, but maybe even increase the value of their estate as well. Okay, don't go yet. I know I just used the word insurance and that sends people running for the hills. I won't call it that anymore because at the end of the day, this tool, and you can call it shit in a shingle for all I care, will make your estate richer. Now, who should consider an estate bond? Well, I'm gonna be frank here. It's folks that have done pretty good. They're likely 50 years old and they have a pretty decent amount of funds saved in non-registered accounts, like not just RRSPs, and they'll likely never be able to spend what they saved in a lifetime. The funds that they saved are likely invested in a portfolio of investments which have a decent portion of longer term assets. In other words, they won't need to access those monies in the short term, and there's likely a substantial inherent tax liability on this portfolio that the CRA are excited to get their grubby little hands on. Now, if this sounds like you, keep watching. And if it's not you, keep watching. You'll be here someday if you're a regular watcher. Subscribe to We Love Small Business and you're all destined for great wealth. And believe me, knowledge is power when it comes to this stuff. Now, this also goes for folks that have their investments sitting in holding companies as well. So I think the easiest way for me to help you conceptualize the magic powers of the estate bond is to just give you a very simple illustration. Okay. So, Jack and Jill, two working professionals, they're very diligent about putting 10% of their net pays away when they started their careers in their mid-20s. They must have watched my 5 Steps to Financial Freedom video up there. They progressed in their careers, they've been putting money in their portfolios and generally making a good return on their investments. The value of their investments also continued to grow quite nicely. And during the 30s and the 40s, they raised 2 children, and they really want to be able to set up each child nicely when they're gone. So in their mid-50s, they decide to take a look at their holdings and see how they might want to adjust their investments to reflect the different stage of life that they're in. So after learning that they would like to travel in the retirement, they love to eat out at nice restaurants, the Mr. is a bit of a clothes hound and the Mrs. has a bit of a shoe addiction, they're still gonna have over half of their savings left when they hit their expected statistical expiration date. Nice, eh? Now, if we did nothing, there would be an inherent tax bill of roughly 30% of the total value of their savings when they die. And this would need to be funded shortly after the last of this couple perishes. Also, who knows what might happen in the markets over the next 30 years? Although there's no reason to expect that they wouldn't still do well. Markets always tend to do well over the long term. But what if Jack and Jill recognize that they're gonna have a pile of money left over and decide to use these monies to fund the cost of an estate bond? Well, let's look at that. Say they purchase a $10 million joint last to die life insurance policy. I meant estate bond. Now this will be paid out no matter what after either Jack or Jill dies, whichever dies last. Now this $10 million far exceeds the value of their savings and it's tax-free. Yes, you heard me, tax-free. Life insurance proceeds in Canada is not taxable. And don't worry, if you hold the estate bond in a holding company, I can still get this out to your beneficiaries tax-free. Now, this isn't gonna be a cheap policy because remember, Jack and Jill are in their mid-50s and things are starting to squeak, but who cares? This money was never gonna be spent in their lifetime anyway, so why not maximize the value that you leave behind? Now, why is an estate bond so damn cool? Here's a bunch of reasons. There's a large, immediate, and guaranteed payout. As I mentioned, it's tax-free. There's no probate or executor fees or legal fees because they can name their 2 children as beneficiaries or their holding company if they wish. there's creditor protection, and it's just a very liquid way to leave large inheritance to your beneficiaries or charities. This is some pretty damn sexy stuff, let me tell you. Okay, the key here is good planning. When you're done here, send an email to your CPA and your financial advisor and tell them you're interested in this estate bond stuff. Or better yet, just send me an email or book a chat. I'll get you hooked up. I have the best partners in the biz in my Rolodex, and making you and your seed, breed, and generation uber rich is my mission in life. So assemble all your investment statements, savings, investments, everything. Put a little thought on what you'd like your retirement to look like. Like, are we talking country clubs here or campgrounds? Book a meeting and we'll get to it. Thanks so much for watching, and please, if you like this, a thumbs up, a comment, or a share means the world to me. Until next time.